Is there any advice you want to give to fellow instructors, especially going on with this remote? What are some tips?
Communicate with your students where they live. One of the things that I have found is very effective as an instructor is I don't email my students anywhere near as much as I used to. I text message my students because they live with their phones in their hands. And even though their phones get their email, they are much more likely to respond to a text message in a timely manner than they are to an email. Plus, if you text message them, for some reason that comes off to the student as more personal, and they really respond very well to that.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that's it's almost like you're having a face-to-face as opposed to an email.
Yes. It takes a lot more time. I am happy to admit that. It takes quite a bit of time to send out individual text messages to the student, but I have found it makes a huge difference, especially those students who are struggling or who seem to have gone quiet, that you can often get those students to make the extra effort and come back around if you're text messaging with them.
Interesting.
I couldn't agree more. Really kind of piggyback on that. I often say, meet the student, meet the learner where they are. So we don't remediate because that's a mandate that we don't remediate, but we do remediate. So that means that often we end up with smaller cohorts of students who are kind of categorized as being behind, they're being on task, on schedule, and then you have some that are potentially overachieving or outperforming the course expectations. Meeting the student, meeting the learner where the student is, where the students are, is extremely important to understand. So I couldn't agree more that includes the technology. My takeaway in this remote learning context right now of being thrust into it is I'm finding myself asking more questions than assuming. And it's really challenging me as a teacher to ask the students what their experience is like. So rather than just taking it on task to say, I'm pretty sure, I kind of know what they want, I ask the question, what's the most important? And that I include the use of technology.